Alright guys, so on this segment, we all gonna be discussing on the CSS basics. So again, CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, okay? And we usually use CSS to beautify HTML, or let's say to upgrade HTML tags into more looking good, okay? So CSS style sheets is a list of CSS rules or rule sets that is used to stylize HTML document. Okay, so for example, this P has a rule set, or this is a rule set or CSS rule sets, and this one also is an example of another CSS rule sets. Okay, next is as I have said, HTML tags can be modified using the CSS. So these are HTML tags. We have the division and we have the unordered list. Okay, so inside this division and inside of this UL or unordered list, we could beautify. Like for example, the color is red and the margin is 20 pixels. Okay, and in CSS, this div and ul is what we called selectors. Okay, selectors. Okay, so next, inside the selectors, you have the div and ul. So we have this what we call declarations. So inside the declarations, this is the property and the value. The color is the property, the red is the value, and the margin is the property, 20 pixels is the value. Same with the UL. Okay? So that is the declaration. We have the property and value. Okay? And this is what we call selectors. Okay? Okay, so there are three ways to insert CSS. So whether you are using external style sheet, internal style sheet, or inline style. Okay, so we all gonna be discussing that one by one. Okay, so we have the internal style sheet. With an external style sheet, you can change the look of the entire website by changing just one file. Meaning, you will be separating one file for the CSS. Okay, the second one, internal style sheet. An internal style sheet may be used if one page has a unique style. Meaning, the CSS is located inside page, okay? And we have this inline style. An inline style may be used to apply a unique style for a single element. Okay, so I will be showing that also later. So I will be showing you how to insert CSS style using the internal style sheet. So again, internal style sheet may be used if one single page has a unique style. So all we need to do is to create a style on this single page HTML or index.html. Okay, so let's say for example style. So inside this tag style, this is where we could insert our CSS rules. Okay, so first, let's say for example, I will give h2, and then this h2 is our selector, and we will give declarations. So the first declaration, let's say for example color. So the color is our property and the value is, let's say for example, orange. Okay, so we will give another CSS rule, let's say for example paragraph P, and then we will give declaration. So let's say for example background color. The background color is our property and the value is, let's say for example, spring green. Okay, so we will be using this CSS rule into our HTML document or HTML file. Okay, so down here, so we could create now our HTML tags. So let's say for example h2, because we used h2 on our CSS declaration. Okay, so h2, so let's say for example the text will be orange. Okay, so let's preview this on the browser, and there you go guys. So the text will be orange. Okay, so Okay, so let's go to the paragraph. Since we designed the paragraph using this declaration, the background color is spring green, then we will be using P paragraph for the HTML. And at this time, I will be using the default content, which is the lorem. So you could type lorem and tab, and there you go. It would automatically give you a content. Saved and then refresh. So there you go, guys. So our CSS are working. Okay, so that is how you are going to insert internal CSS on the page. Okay, so you must have a selector. So H2 is our selector, and these are the properties and values of our CSS rules. So we could use this selector to our HTML page so that we could modify this HTML. Okay, next is the inline style CSS. So again, inline style CSS can be used to apply in a unique style for a single element or in a single HTML tag. Okay, so let's say for example, I will be deleting this style, and then I will be using now this HTML tag to modify. So all you need to do is to inline this style in a HTML tag. So style, so let's say for example background color or color green, and then I will be designing this paragraph also inline CSS using the background color. Style first, style, and the background color, let's say for example orange. Okay, save this one and preview this on the browser, and of course still working. So our CSS are still working, but that is in a form of inline CSS. Okay, so we put style inside the HTML tag. Okay, next CSS style that I am going to discuss is the external style sheet. Okay, so the purpose of this CSS external style sheet is that we are going to separate the file of the CSS. That is mostly done by most programmers. Okay, so I will just delete this one. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I will create new file. Let's say for example about .html, and then I'll just copy this one and paste it here. So I will create now a title, the about us. Okay, so let's create additional more paragraph. P lorem. Okay, we will create div. So inside this paragraph we can create division. Okay, so I will be cutting this one and put it here at the last part. Okay, and then I will add UL, unordered list, and then LI. So let's say for example Jose, and then another LI, Andres, and another LI 1. Okay, oops, inside the LI and 1. Okay, let me save this one. Save, and let's go back here on our index. This is, so let's, okay, so let's say for example this is a home page. Okay, So I will be closing this one, and I will add also a paragraph P and default lorem, and then I will be grouping this into division. Okay, so I will cut the closing one and put it here, save. Okay, so guys, we will create now a separate file for the CSS. Okay, so new file, let's say for example style.css. Okay, so the file extension of the CSS is .css. Okay, so since our CSS style is separated in a page, then we will be using the link so that we could communicate CSS style content. Okay, so let's say for example link, and then style sheet, and then so the href is the target path of our file. So since we don't have a folder here, so we directly include the name of the file, which is the style.css. Okay, so if we are going to view it on the browser, okay, so let's preview this. So this is fully HTML content. Okay, so let's go to the about.html, paste /about.html. Okay, so that is purely the same. So that is all HTML document. We don't have any CSS anyway. We don't have any CSS design. So let's go back to our text editor, style. Okay, so let's say for example we are going to design this h2. So let's say for example h2. So this would be our selector. So the color property, so let's say for example red. So let's preview it on the browser. There you go. Preview. Oops. Let's go back here to our about.html. Okay, sorry, we missed something. So all you need to do is to copy this link and paste it here also, so that our CSS would be functional to the both pages. Okay, so preview. Next thing that I am going to show is the background color. So the purpose of background color is to give a background color of your text. Okay, so let's say for example blue, or let's say for example green or yellow green. Okay, so saved, and let's refresh this one, and there you go. So the background color of the text is green. Same also in the other page. Okay, so another one is the font size. The purpose of font size is to give what is the specific size of our text. So let's say for example 35 pixels. So I usually use pixels for formatting any CSS rules. Okay, save and preview. There you go. So the font size is changed. Okay, so next thing is let's say text decoration. So the purpose of text decoration, so you could put any decoration, like for example underline, bold, or something. Okay, so let's say for example underline, and then the text would be underline. Save, and if you're going to refresh, then this text will be underlined. Okay, so next thing is the font family. The font family, so we could specify font family names based on the whatever the font family that you are using, like for example Tahoma, Arial, Verdana, Geneva, or whatever the font style that you are going to use. Okay, so how about guys, if we are going now to format another rule, which is the paragraph. Okay, so let's format. So P, let's create declarations. So for the paragraph, let's say for example the color black. So it would turn the text into black. Text align. So the purpose of this text align, so you could align the text whether in a center, in a right, or left. Okay. So let's say for example center. Okay. So if we will be saving this and preview this on the browser, so all of the content will be at the center. Okay, same here in our homepage. So next thing that I will be showing you is the letter spacing. Okay, so the space of the letters. So let's say for example 3 pixels. So let's preview this on the browser, and there you go. So the letter spacing. So next tutorial, so I will be discussing more CSS rules.